Formula, a list of ingredients with which something is made. Essentially, this is Formula 1, a list of ingredients with which the teams must compete to build the best racing car they can. As times have gone on, this list of ingredients, or regulations to use the correct terms, has gotten increasingly stricter. During some of the peaks of Formula 1 car development, teams like Tyrrell were even experimenting with 6-wheeled cars. But now F1 teams can't even dream of adjusting certain components in fear of disqualification. So what has led to F1 becoming so much stricter over the modern time period? Formula 1 at its core is a competition to see which team or constructor can build the best racing car, as opposed to see which driver is the best, which in more modern times is what newer fans tend to think the sport is. To do this, constructors usually have to find a way to balance the engine, aerodynamics, and nowadays the tires on the car, in order to send their F1 machine around the track as fast as possible. However, teams will often also look for the ways they can best innovate and therefore gain an advantage under the current set of regulations. A perfect example would be Mercedes' DAS, dual-axis steering system, implemented in 2020. This essentially allowed the drivers to change the toe of the wheels between corners and straights, giving the car more optimized temperatures and grip throughout the circuit. At least that's what my very limited mechanical knowledge tells me. More like Wikipedia. This, like many innovations in F1, meant the rules for next season were amended, because teams could use such a powerful tool, and that's why we only saw it for 2020. But what other key innovations have the FIA deemed not worthy to be in F1? Well, going back to the 1990s, Williams was not known as a backmarker team as it is today, but instead was at the forefront of technical innovation in Formula 1, and its 1992 car was one of the most technologically advanced on the grid. It took Nigel Mansell to 10 wins, along with a Drivers' Championship wrapped up in mid-August, and the Constructors' Championship lead of 65 points over McLaren. The car saw huge advancements in traction control, a brilliant semi-automatic gearbox, sometimes an ABS system, and the biggest technological achievement of them all, the active suspension system. This led to the car being fast, and given the driver aids, made it more stable and easier to drive. Williams expanded on this philosophy in 1993, bringing Prost to his final World Drivers' Championship. But in 1994, the FIA once again changed the regulations, choosing to ban all driver gizmos, not just active suspension, but ABS and traction control too, as they wanted it to be more difficult for the drivers, as the FIA felt that these aids were giving teams too much of an advantage. The FIA can sometimes make regulations stricter for the purpose of tightening up the field, as seen in recent years like 2020 with DAS, and further in the past like 1994 with Williams. But what about other changes? In 1976, Tyrrell rocked up to the F1 paddock with a car that caught everyone's interest, the P34, a 6-wheeled Formula 1 car, and the first of its kind. The basic concept made sense. Two smaller front wheels designed to increase airflow over the car and to the rear wing, in order to improve aerodynamics and reduce drag. Basically a whole lot of physics. The main issue the car suffered from was the contact patch of the front wheels became too small, meaning the car struggled for mechanical grip into the corners. Although the 1976 car was reasonably competitive, picking up a race win in Sweden that year, the team were unable to really push the car much further, choosing to stick with it in 1977, but in 78 saying, nah, and they scrapped the whole project. Although other teams would look into the 6-wheeled concept, none would really catch on until Williams was spotted testing a strange-looking vehicle. In 1981, Williams couldn't secure a turbo engine in time for the season, so they would be stuck running the less powerful Cosworth DFV. This meant they had to gain the advantage somewhere else, and Williams chose, unlike the Tyrrell P34, to place the extra 2 wheels on the rear of the car and make themselves a 6-wheeled car. By their calculations, this would reduce drag enough to allow their less competitive engine to compete with the rest of the field. And when they took the car testing, it was phenomenal. Its grip was amazing, and it was capable of taking corners at incredible speed, as its side pods also generated ground effect to pull the car towards the road. By this point, the FIA caught wind of the idea and banned cars with more than 4 wheels under safety concerns. Yeah, sure. And they went on to say anyway, it would be classified as 4-wheel drive, which, to be fair, was already banned under the F1 rules. So the car never actually saw a race. So really then, why is F1 so strict? Well, the common theme of many of the choices made by the FIA to tighten the regulations is really to stop one team from having too much of an advantage. All the examples given, and there are many more that exist, it usually takes an F1 team pushing the boundaries of the regulations before the FIA actually takes action. We saw it with the fan car back in the 70s, which did also have safety concerns of being slightly too fast, and we saw it in the 2000s with Braun's double diffuser advantage. We've even seen it in the 2020s with Mercedes' unique steering system. F1 teams will always try and push the boundaries for what can be made under the list of ingredients provided to them. Subscribe if you did enjoy this video, as we are going for 50,000 subscribers. Goodbye!